Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Namaste friends. I thought we would do another video today on what I call named the file as a Tithi Destiny Calculator. We have our Sanjay Rath's book on Kova, the crux of Vedic Astrology, which gives a rule for determining the Tithi at that time of death. The Tithi, the Vedic date of death, is seen from the strongest planet in the 5th house from lagna or sammukha rasi. By sammukha rasi, what he means is, suppose we have Gemini, this would be Virgo would be the sammukha rasi. For this Aries, Scorpio would be the sammukha rasi. For Libra, the Taurus would be the sammukha rasi. For Pisces, Sagittarius would be the sammukha rasi. That is when you fold it from horizontally that way. When you fold it this way vertically, then for Cancer, Aquarius would be sammukha rasi. For Leo, the other would be the sammukha rasi, basically Capricorn. Therefore, he says the 5th house from lagna or sammukha rasi would tell us about the planet which would be indicative of the Tithi. If none are there, then the sign occupied by the 5th Lord has to be checked, and the 9th house or the Lord of 9th Lord has to be checked for females. And Tithi, as we know, is we associate a planet for each of the Tithis. For Prathami and Navami, we associate Surya. For Dvitiya and Dasami, we associate Chandra. For Tritiya and Ekadashi, Mars, Mangal, and all that. We know all this. So, the idea is, can we check this rule for very many people? Because we already have a template now, and there has been some suggestions to include Gulika, Mandi. We included Gulika last time. So there has been suggestion to check on not only Gulika but also Mandi. So that part also I have included here. Of course, that has no connection with the current rule check that we are going to do. But yeah, Mandi is a powerful planet indicative of death related. So Mandi is part of this calculation. And I also included Prana Sputa, Dega Sputa, Mrityu Sputa, Sukshma Sputa, Trisputa, Chatur Sputa, and Panchasputa, which are basic inclusions within the columns here. So, like the last video, I am just taking you through the table. We have the time of birth and we have planets in each of the rasis just as before. This is the birth Tithi, that is what I have included. Since we had the sun longitude and the moon longitude, it was fairly comfortably easy to do a Tithi calculation for the birth. And also a Tithi number, so it's all related calculations. So similarly, death Tithi also we are calculating at the other end. So the table of all people, I have taken people who are dead here. I have given the date of birth, time, place, longitude, and at the end I have the date of death. So one more thing I added here is a couple of features. Let me tell you that. So that is if I choose a particular row in it will populate the chart for that particular person in the row. And you can easily make out which is the 5th Lord, because the rule says the 5th Lord or the 5th planet in the 5th house, mainly the planet in the 5th house, would determine the Tithi. So if I just browse through, so here I have this date, time of death and the date of death. Since I could not collect the time of death for many people, I just googled and wherever I found time of death I entered, but not for all the cases. So generally I have taken 12 p.m. for the day, because the Tithi might be changing also in between sometimes. So we have to be careful entering the correct time of birth. But yeah, I'm just illustrating this template now. So it's not perfect in terms of the time of birth. I just entered some arbitrary time of birth. Wherever I knew, I put time of birth here. And it gets me the sun's degree at the time of birth, moon's degree at the time of birth, and the Tithi number and the Tithi Lord for the time of death time. And therefore the death Tithi itself. And I have put a column here whether the Rath's rule, the one shown here, passes or fails. Let us check one by one. So I am taking this chart of Abdul Kalam ji, and it says the fifth house. Here the fifth house is ruled by Mars, and he died on Shukla Ekadasi, ruled by Mars. So that is profound. It's working so very. And here when I go to the next chart, immediately I get another person's chart. This is my relative, so nothing to do with public figures. He died on a Krishna Dasami, and the fifth house has nothing to do with the moon. But then I have said pass here because let me check how it gets related. Maybe I have some partial. The Lord of that Saturn also has no connection with the moon, but still I have said pass there. Only thing is I don't know, I checked here. The fifth house really has no connection with the moon. Only thing is the opposite sign is that of moon. But that's not the rule that is saying it. The Lord is perfectly Saturn, so Saturn has no connection with the moon. But yeah, this is a sammukha rasi for the Saturn and moon. Maybe therefore we can say, it's not fully correct. The Lord has a sammukha rasi with the moon, and the strongest of that should indicate moon is also weak, Saturn is also weak. Maybe I don't know, Mars should be stronger if that sammukha rasi is to be checked. So I will say partial here. And let me go to the next chart, Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Shukla Shashti, it fails. I don't see why Shashti should have killed the person, because the fifth Lord, we just have to see the fifth house. The fifth house, if there is no planet, we see the fifth Lord. Fifth Lord is we can take Rahu, or we can take at the most, Saturn itself. Saturn is in Venusian sign. Maybe that's the reason Shukla Shashti he died, where we are ruled by Venus. So, but yeah, that's a little far-fetched, so I put fail. And this again has failed, which is Bala Murali Krishna's. We can check that. Maybe I'll pass you through certain B.V. Raman's. I have said partial because the fifth house is ruled by Mercury, and he should have died on a Mercury ruled Tithi, but he died on a moon ruled Tithi. Only thing is, see Ketu in a moon star in his chart. So maybe Ketu took over, I don't know. So I have put a partial success rate there. In terms of the other person, Jayalalitha, it was very striking. The fifth Lord is Venus, and she died on a Venus day. So she died, Jayalalitha died on a Venus ruled Tithi, which is Shukla Shashti. Then next is Karnati. He died on a Krishna Ekadashi, and Mars. Mars is the fifth Lord in the fifth house, quite strong. So quite bringing out more or less correctly. Out of the 48 numbers that I checked, let us check how many fail or how many pass, partial, and let us check. It takes, why should it take this much time? Okay, 28 have really passed through pass or partial. So only remaining 20 have failed. So fairly good success rate. And one thing to remember is many more would also pass, because the time of birth adjustments and bhava adjustments might also be required here. I have taken the rasi here as such because the signs what he refers to. So looks like it's a fairly interesting and correct rule that we can try to apply. So the fifth house, which is connected with Purva Punya and maybe the next Janma, that is perhaps the reason. For ladies, he says the ninth house. So I have one lady only, I think, here. Maybe I had time for Indira Gandhi, I think. Indira Gandhi, she died on a Shuklashtami. And does it pass? I say it passes. Why? Because Shuklashtami, the ninth house is Pisces, and the sammukha rasi is here where Rahu is placed. So Rahu governs Ashtami. So that also passes. So looks like yeah, very revealing method. You can try it with multiple people. You can enter any number of people here, and yeah, this way we can use the Excel to validate rules. So hope I will give a link to this file, and maybe down the line we might have to use all this pranasputa, degasputa, and all that, kulika, mandi, everything together to verify multiple rules. Thank you very much.